Hi there, everybody. I am Dr. Laurie Chapin, and I'm pleased to be presenting some research with you today at the conference. My presentation is about building resilience through an after-school film club. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about Film Club. And in the background, I'm just going to be playing one of the films that the kids make at Film Club. So there's not going to be any sound for this one. If you do want to check it out, you can go to their YouTube channel. So I'm just going to run that so you can get a bit of a flavor of it. And so Film Club is run by a nonprofit organization called Polyglot Theater, and they employ program leaders. They run an extracurricular weekly filmmaking program, as we can see. In addition to the program leaders, they have other adult facilitators. They are artists, they are filmmakers, they're professionals working in the field, and they work with the children after school every week. They also put a lot of their own time into developing the programs. So this film that the kids made, they wrote it, they do all the camera work, they work on the editing. This is a story about a girl who she's talking to her friends in the beginning. She has to go to a new school. And so this is her new school, and there's some really, really strange things going on. And she has to figure out if she wants to fit in or if she wants to be her own person and not do that. So each year there's about 20 students who are involved, and they gain a lot of skills. This film club is at St. Joseph's School in Collingwood, which is an urban area of Melbourne, Australia. The students are very, very diverse. Not all of them are Catholic, and the majority of the parents were born outside of Australia. Some of the kids were also born outside of Australia, and most of the students speak English plus another language at home. So very, very interesting group of kids, and a really, really great school and a really great program. So now let me give a little bit of background. I'm going to spend more time talking about the program, so less on the literature behind it. But what we're looking at is an arts-based extracurricular activity, and we know that extracurriculars are very, very important. There's a lot of benefits for socio-emotional development, resiliency, self-efficacy, and school engagement. So it's not just about fun. Creative programs might be a bit more unique than clubs based on chess or sporting activities. There might be a little bit more opportunity to explore their identity, thinking about agency, and working on their social skills. And of course, a key part to extracurriculars is the supportive relationships with adults. And this is a semi-structured setting rather than a more formal setting like at a school. So there might be a little bit more opportunity for the participants to have a sense of belonging, safety, common purpose. These are kind of the important points that we can get from extracurriculars. So my work is an evaluation of the program over 3 years plus the pilot year, so 2016 to 2019. Film Club is for kids who are in grades 5 to 6, which is primary school in Australia. And Polyglot, when they developed the program, they wanted to create an environment and a program that would help students transition to secondary school. So originally they were going to include kids in grades 7 to 8, but ultimately they ended up focusing on grades 5 and 6 at the one school. So the research aim is to find out, what is going on with the program, what do the kids have to say about it, and what are some of the positive developmental outcomes that we see, and is there an impact on school development? So today I'm going to be presenting the qualitative findings. We did have some surveys, but in 15 minutes we're going to focus just on the qualitative. So each year from 2016 to 2019, we interviewed a sample of about 8 to 10 young people. We also interviewed some of the adult facilitators in 2018. And in 2019, we included some open-ended surveys with teachers and educators who had been involved with the program. Some of them stayed after school to participate, and some of them were teaching kids over the years who've been involved in that, as well as the principal. So this is an overview of the findings. So we found out quite a lot about the processes, about the youth-centered aspect of it. What are some of the things that the kids are experiencing, how it's setting the stage for that wider impact. And I'm going to go into each one of those areas. So the first part of the process is that film club is youth-centered. The first theme is about this authentic relationships. So the facilitators had a lot to say about what was their process, how did they really set things up so that the kids could benefit from it. So, you know, the facilitators made sure that they were interested and excited. They kind of wanted to meet the participants where they were at, kind of tap into a lot of their energy. Joking was really important. They wanted to value whatever it was that the kids were interested in. And they wanted to talk their language, being interested and really showing that they're being genuine. Collaboration is very important, which is one reason why they are facilitators, not leaders. They're almost in a mentor capacity, but they really were kind of there as a partnership. There's a lot of creative equality, mutual respect, taking everyone's ideas very seriously. And of course, relationships that are fostering agency, which we'll actually see in the next slide as well. So being able to promote autonomy, which is really important to being youth-centered. They wanted to create this environment that was very exciting and supportive. And one of the teachers observed, it was amazing to see the artists take the children's ideas and then ask the right questions, or prompt the questions to ask their own, as a way of getting the kids to do the heavy lifting when it came to the developing of ideas. So they really kind of set things up so that the students could be successful. And I'm not going to read all the quotes that I have in here, but as much as possible in this presentation, I wanted the voice of the kids and the facilitators to really explain a lot about what this impact of Film Club is. So that was a good one, relating to the facilitators being partners in this process. So the second part is Film Club is setting the stage. So sense of belonging is one of the things that the kids said that they really felt. So even though they were all from the same school, they weren't all friends, but they really were able to come together and feel like they belonged to something important. And even sometimes when there were behavior problems, they're kids after all, they knew that it would get worked out. Some of them had stories about the facilitators working with them, and they really, really felt that this was an important place for them. And of course, promoting child agency. So free expression was a really important part of this program. You know, there's a lot of times where kids don't get as much say in what they do, like when they're at school, they have to do this and they can't really, you know, have a say in how things go. And so free expression was something that they really, really loved. They're really encouraged to take responsibility. Sometimes the grade 6s would kind of have to look after the grade 5s. One of the facilitators said that this program was about planting the seed and letting the child develop it. Polyglot gives a bit of pruning along the way, but the tree is still the child's tree. And confidence. This was probably one of the things that came up every year that was really common throughout everyone. Teachers, facilitators, and the kids themselves, they said that they really felt that they were much more confident in themselves. So in Film Club, but also outside of Film Club. One of the kids also said, I thought I wasn't going to be good, but when I tried, I was like, oh yeah, it's fun, I want to do more. And, you know, trying to find, the teachers also found that increasing confidence in expressing themselves was something that they saw in the classroom, and even the grade 5s going into the following year. One of the really interesting findings from the teachers was that the reserved children were the ones who especially benefited from Film Club, which I found is very interesting because Film Club seems like it would be perfect for outgoing and animated children, but they said it was actually a place where some of the more reserved children found that they could, they were supported and they could grow in that confidence. So that was really interesting, that they really blossomed, was what two of the teachers actually used that word, blossom. And here's another quote from one of the Film Club participants talking about how inclusive they felt, that they were able to make connections with a lot of other kids and everybody felt really, really comfortable. And here's another one about confidence, that they were able to kind of grow some confidence. They didn't really think that they were going to be comfortable, and just keeps getting better. So the impacts. So the first one is looking at well-being. That this was a place where there were a lot of emotions. It was a safe space. The facilitator said that they made sure that kids weren't rejected because they were having a big emotion, and the creative space really allowed them to explore that and to think about it. A lot of kids talked about teamwork being something that they had to learn, and really interesting quote from one boy, reflecting some of the social skills he might have learned. He had to work with another kid that he didn't really like, and he said, I just went on with it, pretend he's my best friend. So trying to kind of suppress some of those instincts, but maybe learning to work it out, which is really tough when you're grade 5 or 6. In school engagement, I was really impressed with the way the kids were able to talk about how some of the things that they learned at film club translated to the classroom. So some of it was practical stuff like writing and writing scripts. It really able to, them to see the relevance in these things, reading and writing, and even just thinking about how they could actually do some of these careers as a future. And the self-expression and the social skills also really had an impact on their school engagement as well. They said they felt more comfortable speaking up or asking questions of their teachers. And then the third one is cultural identity. So Film Club didn't really aim to think about cultural identity, but based on the diversity of the group and all this self-expression and ability to think about who they are, it really kind of set the stage for them to grow in that identity. It's just kind of starting because they're still young in their identity development, which we kind of think about as adolescents. And there's another quote about managing some of those big emotions. All right, and as a wrap up, of course, there's some important implications for practice that adapting for other schools and communities, there's a lot of opportunity there. The cost was probably one of the biggest limitations because of all the equipment involved with doing the filming. They had professional gear, but overall we really found that it was a positive experience. The energy of the participants, they were meeting a lot of their developmental needs, especially in their social emotional development, and they really felt valued and they had a sense of belonging, and it was really enhancing that sense of agency. And the result was that gain of confidence and able to do things that they didn't think that they could do. All right, so thank you for this. I've got a number of people from Polyglot to thank, Priya, and the rest of the staff, as well as all of our research participants from St. Joseph's, and my colleague, Dr. Carolyn Deans, and many, many student researchers and research assistants over the years. Thanks so much.